What's up, y'all? I'm still out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on what's turned out to be a beautiful day. Temps right now right at 70 degrees with a little bit of a breeze going, so it's been a fantastic day to do some testing. It's been all about some 9mm today, and we're gonna end it out the same way with hopefully another good 147 9mm. So we got the jelly contraption ready to go for one more test with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Now these blocks have gotten a little bit messy, especially this far block, several different tracks here. Unfortunately, even this one up here, I don't know if you can see, but there's a tiny little line going through there where the last test didn't cooperate. That shouldn't get in my way as long as I've got some decent aim and a little bit of luck. I am using a heavy clothing barrier up front, of course. It's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we've got for this one is some more fancy stuff from PMC ammo. It's their 9mm SFX 147 grain. Now, this is basically their Starfire Reborn. I think it's pretty much the same projectile design. I have actually tested these in 124 grain already in a few different barrel lengths, the short MC9, the G17, and a 16-inch carbine. The 16-inch carbine and the G17 did an absolutely fantastic job. The MC9, on the other hand, the shorter barrel, total fail. No kind of expansion at all, and under the velocity claimed on the box. And speaking of velocity, with this 147 grain, they're saying 996 feet per second at the muzzle. I didn't see any kind of barrel length listed. Here's a look at your cartridge, brass case there with that SFX projectile. Definitely a pretty nice looking projectile. It reminds me a whole lot, if it expands, of the HST or a V-Crown, just the style of it. Now, I personally feel like 147 grain 9mm should be left for longer barrels on the longer end, or at least not tiny little micros or micro subcompacts, whatever you want to call them, stuff like the MC9. So I'm not even going that short. The 124 grain didn't perform out of the MC9. There's really no sense in wasting time with it with the 147. So the shortest one we're working with here today with this 147 is my FN 509 with a 4.5-inch barrel, and then I'm gonna step it on up to a little bit longer barrel here with the Ruger PC Charger and its 6.5-inch barrel. So this should be a pretty good way to end out the day of testing. Hopefully we get lucky, since we're using the longer barrels, and we'll get double success right here. Let's get everything set up and see what it does. All right, let's see what kind of numbers I can get from these fancy Korean rounds. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each barrel length, starting with this 4.5 509 first. Now you're gonna see multiple readings from this radar. Your large numbers right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got the others set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now remember, the box is saying 996 on this. I would love to see that. I made some notes that said on the 124, the G17 exceeded what the box said. So I would really love to see that happen right here with this, and of course the PC Charger. 1043, 1050, 1046, 1031, and 1047. So I am very happy to see that right there. And again, it does make sense, because like I say, I've got notes that said the G17 was above what the box said on the 124. So I'm guessing they must have gotten this out of 4-inch barrel at the most. Let's see what the average was. All right, so far I'm really liking what I'm seeing. We had a 5-round average right here of 1044 feet per second. Extreme spread was 19 with a 7.4 standard deviation. So very nice consistency. 1044 for a 147. I mean, I think that's pretty good if I'm not mistaken. Let's reset it and see what the longer barrel does. All right, these extra 2 inches should add right much velocity to this stuff. If I can get up here and work my way in without looking too awkward to get the readings on these things. Let's see what we can get. 1070, 1077, 1055, 1054, And 1,064, so definitely sped it up. Not a whole tremendous amount though. Let's check out the average. All right, pretty interesting stuff right here. Our 5-round average that time, after adding 2 more inches of barrel, was 1,064 feet per second. The extreme spread was 22 with a 9.7 standard deviation. So once again, really nice consistency. Oddly enough though, we only picked up about 20, I believe, 1,064 here. And if you remember on the 509, it was 1,044. So sure enough, we only picked up 20 FPS with 2 additional inches of barrel length. That tells me right there, this has got to be some super fast burning powder, because we didn't pick up much at all. I mean, I expected to pick up at least 100 or right at 100 anyway with 2 extra inches of barrel. All that being said, for whatever reason, I think these are both going to do a good job in the gel. Now, obviously with them being this close, if one fails, the other's probably going to fail and vice versa. But let's get this stuff set up. Y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's kimchi jelly time. I'm gonna put one from each barrel length into the gel, starting with this 4.5 inch 509. I'm really hoping both of these do well. I really hope they do. I got a feeling they might, so let's see what happens. All right, that went exactly where I wanted it. Let me go see what we got. All right, y'all, I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised at that right there. That looks like some fantastic performance from that 4.5 inch, and it was still over 1,000 down there at the block. So that's some good loaded stuff. Let's see what this 6.5 inch does. This should give us some more good performance if I can get my hold over right on this thing anyway. All right, that should have been absolutely perfect. Let's go check these out. All right, y'all, let's check this stuff out down here. I gotta say, I am actually really impressed by both of these right here. Very impressive performance in the gel, very impressive velocity still right here at the block even. This stuff right here seems to be loaded pretty nice. On the top here, this is the one from the 4.5 inch 509. As you can see, this stuff comes in, immediately expands, immediately pushes that cloth out of the way. Very nice spiral looking disruption all the way through this first block. This one travels into the second block. I'm gonna guess probably about 4 inches or so, and looks like you've got some really nice expansion. And then the one down below that, of course, that was from the 6.5 inch PC charger. More of the same, just a little more of it. Comes in here, immediate expansion. Now, oddly enough, this is the same way as our radar section. These were within, I think, 20 or so velocity of each other. So really nice consistency out of these loads. Again, comes in here, very nice disruption. Once again, you start getting that spiral looking pattern action going on there all the way through this first block with some very nice disruption all the way. Crosses into the second block. This one here stops maybe 1/4 of an inch short of that first one, but once again, some incredibly nice expansion. And like I always talk about, I absolutely love that you basically got the same performance from both of these barrel lengths. Now, as far as your distance on them, the one up top here from the 4.5 inch, you're right at 20.25 inches. So absolutely fantastic right there in my opinion. And then the one on the bottom from the PC charger, you're right at, I'm gonna say about 19.75 on that one. So both of these things, absolute perfection as far as distance. And then here's your close look at them. Again, as you can see, they look very similar. Both of them came in here, immediate expansion, very nice disruption. If you follow them all the way through this block, really nice looking stuff. Cross into the second block here, there's the one from your 509, really nice expansion. And then drop down, there's the one from your PC charger. Looking at them from above, more of the same, a little bit tough to see here, but you get the picture. These things look like they did an absolute fantastic job. All right, let's check out these projectiles. More really nice looking stuff here. This one is from the 4.5 inch 509. This is from the 6.5 inch Ruger PC charger. You can definitely tell a difference. If you look there, look how far the pedals peel down on the base on this one versus this one right here. And not quite as much expansion as I thought they had. That being said, I'm just nitpicking at this point because this is still absolutely fantastic for a 147 grain 9 mil. That's really, really nice expansion. And keep in mind, I mean, this is plain ballistic gel. So, you know, you hit something harder, hit something a little more dense or whatever the case may be, you're liable to get more than this or maybe even a little less than this. But in any case, this right here is some very, very nice performance. And you can probably see why I say they remind me of an HST or even a V-Crown. You can see how they expanded there. Very, very similar looking to an HST. I think these might have a harder lead compound though, because you can see they didn't bring near as much lead out as an HST probably would have. So if I was guessing, I would say this is a little harder lead compound. But let's get some measurements and see what that looks like. As far as weight, they started at 147. This one from the 4.5 inches at 146.2, so probably just manufacturing tolerances. This one from the 6.5 inch Ruger PC Charger is 146.6. So once again, I would say that's just pure manufacturing tolerances. And then for your sizes, this is probably going to be really similar. This one from the 509, you got 512 and 548, so really, really nice expansion there. And this one from the 6.5 inch PC Charger, you got 577 and 592, so definitely a little bit bigger ending size on this PC Charger, but in both cases, they did a very, very nice job. So there you go, y'all, the PMC SFX 9 mil in 147 grain. I'm actually pretty impressed by this right here. Now, keep in mind, we are on the longer end of the barrels. Our shortest one was 4.5, whereas the 124, the short one, I went all the way down to the 3.1 MC9. So would this stuff still perform at, you know, a 3.4, 3.5 inch barrel? I don't know. I've kind of got my doubts just based on the expansion that we saw from the 4.5. Maybe it's worth trying though. Let me know in the comments if y'all would like to see me try this 147 from the shorter barrel just to see if we would get some kind of expansion and some kind of performance from it. But in this case right here, with the little bit longer length of barrels, I personally think these things did a very, very nice job. All right, y'all, I'm gonna wrap it up right there for what I think was a really nice 9 mil performance the end of the day of testing. I was actually kind of expecting to have to call a 50-50 fail out here the end of the day, but very glad to see even the 4.5 inch performed well. It's really surprising though, after seeing the performance out that 124, but again, we're talking about longer barrels here. I mean, an inch longer was the shortest barrel I used for this 147, but we are talking about a heavier weight too, so it should have kind of evened out. Whatever the reason, this 147 did very well through these barrel lengths. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Those of y'all who might run 147 grain 9 mil, what do you think about the performance from this right here? If you do run a 147, what barrel length do you run it in? Is it shorter than what I tested with here today? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Quick reminder, like always, if you're doing any kind of shopping, make sure you hit those affiliate links I've got in the video description first. I've got pretty much anything you might be looking for down there, and anything you pick up helps the channel, so I really appreciate that. Big thanks once again to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got some really good stuff on the way, so make sure you stay on the lookout, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.